Hi friends, it is Tuesday, May 3rd, and we finished our governing board meeting. It started at 9 o'clock, ended at about 1:45, and it was a really long meeting, a lot of topics that went into some detail, but really what took a nice amount of time at the beginning of our meeting is we had the Mariachis Los Diablitos from Sunnyside High School came with their director, Mr. Roberto Martinez, who's also a member of Mariachi Cobre, or was a member of performing group of Mariachi Cobre. They came for one of our proclamations in honor of the 51st anniversary of Mariachi Cobre. And a lot of our events around mariachi, including the Tucson International Mariachi Conference, started with support from Mariachi Cobre. So it was great to be able to honor them, but I cannot tell you what it felt like to walk into the Board of Supervisors area, into admin, and there's the lobby, and there were all the mariachis there playing. It was great. It was so great. It's hard to describe in English. On Spanish, it's like se me enchina el piel, like you just got the goosebumps, because it was just so amazing. So that was wonderful. I hope we do more to celebrate the young people and the talent in our community, and we'll continue to encourage more of those events. We had the pledge read by Anais Cotares. She is a senior at Sunnyside, and it was really great. And I know her dad, so it was really great to get to meet her. And the land acknowledgement was read by Kim Tenario. We actually graduated together from high school and ran into each other in the lobby about 3 weeks ago. And she is here at Pima County. She's a finance analyst and works in risk management. So I thank you to Kim for reading the land acknowledgement. One of the other proclamations that we had was period poverty awareness. that one, Dr. Shannon Roberts, the director or CEO of the Diaper Bank, came to accept that, and we're going to have a drive like we did last year, and that was one of our first inaugural events that was really successful. So we're hoping to have that same level of success, even more. We're going to be collecting donations at, I think, every library. It'll be May 23rd through 29th. We'll have a lot of detail on our website and on our social media sites. So as we get closer to May 23rd, please look out for those. We requested an item on SAPCO, and that is the Sustainability Plan for Pima County. And so what we did is we requested information, and we had Linda Mayrow, and it's the Sustainability Action Plan for Pima County Operations. And so where we are when this plan started, and when a previous board went through this entire plan and creating this plan, and where we are now, we're in many cases we're far below what the expectation would be. One of the criteria is sort of landfill, like filling up at the landfill, and water usage, and we are way over where we were supposed to be on some of the criteria to get there. So what we did is propose this presentation, and then the addendum item had a resolution that would extend this sustainability plan through 2030, and really come up with some very clear criteria and updates to our Board of Supervisors, minimally semi-annual. So I think that I'm hoping that our efforts in trying to monitor this is going to be really important, because if you look at the kinds of emissions that we're failing or far below where we should be, it's water usage, it is wastewater treatment emissions. We've had a significant increase in waste emissions, and all of that is affecting our environment. And so these are the small things that Pima County can do to try to reach an acceptable level of emissions for our community. And some of the other goals and part of the progress there is like planting trees. There are certain things that we can do and do more of, and we're going to. We had our county administrator update. This is an addition that I really like. It's our county administrator, Jan Lesher, started talking about the positives and really giving kudos to our staff. I think that's wonderful, and we should really do more of that in celebrating the good people that are helping to support our community. We had an item on vote centers, and so what we did is this was a all of the locations where the vote centers are going to be. We have 129 vote centers, 22 of those are in District 5, and so they're kind of spread out all over. And what I think is important to note is that this is not going to be like your polling place. You can vote at any vote center. So if you work downtown but live in Oro Valley, you can vote at the one right here downtown. Every single vote center is going to be able to address your needs for the ballot that matches where you live. And I think that that's really going to open up a lot of doors to people. As somebody who's really tried to encourage people to vote from the time that I can remember, being able to say that where are you standing right now and identify the closest vote center to them is going to be invaluable in trying to encourage people to vote. So I did appreciate the efforts. We were able to meet our new elections director, Constance Hargrove. Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet her. And based on her responses to some of the questions that were posed to her by different supervisors, she has this handled. And I'm really glad to hear it, because one of the unfortunate things is that we have members in our community and even on the dais that continue to undermine the integrity of our democracy by attacking these vote centers. And we are going to be able to be successful. There are going to be hiccups just like there are at every other election. And so this election day, I'm hoping that we'll get some of those bugs worked out, but we also have backups before we move to this vote center model at polling places. So I want to thank our county recorder, Gabriela Casares Kelly. She stayed for almost the entirety of the board meeting, which I hope we don't have to do anymore, because I do think that these departments are incredibly busy right now. Thank you, Marian Chuban, for being there as well with our county recorder. I think you all did an amazing job of really talking about the positives of the vote centers. One of the issues that will be a problem is staffing. And so unfortunately, no one asked the specific question, and I forgot to ask the specific question, but if you know of anyone who's going to be able to work at any of these voting centers, please reach out to the elections department, because that is going to be one of the things that they're looking for. Initial court appearances. We had an item 20. This is an item that has come back to the board several times. And what we're trying to do is address the issue of people who have misdemeanor offenses that are put in detention because they can't pay the bond. And so sometimes recommendations from our county attorney are bonds in, $100,000, and then the recommendation, what ends up being passed by the judge or imposed by the judge, is like $1,500. And so trying to figure out, based on the crime and based on the history, what makes the most sense. Some of these people should be, if it's a misdemeanor crime, should be released on their own recognizances and are being held in detention. And so what we're trying to do is address that through this intergovernmental agreement between Superior Court, the Justice Court, the City of Tucson Court, and Pima County. So our county attorney, Laura Conover, suggested some changes. And one, they had to do with making sure that the judges that are overseeing these initial court appearances, that they have experience in felonies, that they're looking at some of the data, that they have to go through a training. I didn't think that they were really cumbersome. The only other thing was requesting a report from the courts. But we heard Judge Bergen was there, and we heard very clearly from Judge Bergen that he didn't feel like there was a problem. He wanted us to extend the current IGA that we have with the courts at least through the end of the year, but the original request was 10 years. And currently, that IGA that we had with the courts expired July of last year. So we don't have a current an active IGA at this point. The Board of Supervisors passed, I believe it was 4-1, this recommended compromise or draft agreement that was submitted by our county attorney. And Judge Bergen basically said, we don't have to follow that. And so we just won't draw down the funds from Pima County, and we're going to continue to do it the way we want to do it. But in a nutshell, the courts are going to continue to do it the way they want to, unless Judge Bergen and the courts agree to the compromise, which I did not get the impression that they were willing to do because they don't feel like there's a problem. So now our recourse here at our office is to work with the city of Tucson because their IGA has already been signed. And I do think that, we have these three, we have judicial, the executive, and legislative for a reason. And there is a balance there. And so I'm hoping at this point then to work with the city of Tucson to try to address some of the concerns that we have so they understand what we're trying to do at the county side. Because had this passed and had the judge been willing to move forward with it, then it would have had to go back to the city of Tucson in order to come up with a compromise. So at this point, we don't have an agreement with the courts for initial court appearances. We our Redistricting Advisory Committee and our representative was Dr. Agustin Romero. Thank you, Dr. Romero, for all that you did. And there was a 5-0 vote to move forward with the recommendation from that committee for the new districts that would affect the Board of Supervisors and also Pima Community College. That passed 5-0, so I appreciate that. We had a lot of rezoning, fireworks permits. That took up several pages on our agenda. And essentially, the last item I want to talk about is the Mariachi Conference. There'll be a graphic added to the end of this little summary, but there's a lot of events that are coming up that are all, this is a very busy week, so I know a lot of people are involved in a lot of different activities, but mine will be primarily around what's going on with the Mariachi Conference. My daughter is performing, and a lot of students that I know are performing, and I want to make sure to support all of the young people that are going to be a part of this. And then also there's the dedication to Linda Ronstadt of the stage at the TCC, and that's also part of all of the conference activities. So just coming up, we have May 4th at the TCC Music Hall. There is a vocal competition, and it's the finals, and that starts at 6 p.m. Then May 5th, a Cinco de Mayo concert is going to be at the MSA Annex, and there's going to be a corrido competition, folklorico dancing, and music by Los Gallegos, which they are amazing. Then May 6th, we have 5:30 p.m. the TCC Music Hall. There is a showcase concert, and those are all the young youth mariachis, and so I will definitely be front row on that. And then May 7th is Fiesta Garibaldi, which will be all over the TCC Plaza. There'll be stages in 2 different locations and mariachi music and dance all over. Lots of fun, food, all kinds of stuff. And then May 7th is the TCC Music Hall Espectacular concert, and that's the one I was talking about that our very own Tucson native Linda Ronstadt will be honored. And then there's a mariachi mass May 8th at San Agustin at 12. So it's really busy. I hope to see you at one of those events. Stay safe, my friends. Take care.